Hello everyone. So good. Hi everyone. So I'm talking behind the scenes because someone asked me how I do my coffee. I really just use a Nespresso machine. I had this Nespresso machine when I was in Edinburgh, and then I shipped it over to the UAE when I finished my master's. It's a really good machine, and it carried me through endless nights of studying and writing papers. So here we are. I already placed the sugar amount. So when I use a big cup, I use 1.5 brown sugar. And if it is a smaller cup, I just use 1 pack of sugar. So lately I've been obsessed with this roasted hazelnut flavor. And it is what I'm going to be using today. And I'm going to froth some milk in a regular milk frother, and yeah, that is pretty much it when my husband is not home making the actual coffee from grounded coffee beans. Hello everyone, and welcome to another Dalian Reads video. So we've entered the new year. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you have been doing your to-do lists if you have any, and I hope that you have read maybe a couple of books that you wanted to read for your maybe reading goal this year. What's new with me? Well, I turned 29 this month on the 12th of January. So basically, I'm saying goodbye to my 20s chapter this year. So I plan on making it a wonderful year filled with cool memories and hopefully great achievements. Oh yeah, and now I have this mic as well. I haven't named it yet, but if you have any name suggestions for me, please let me know in the comments below. I always like to name inanimate objects. I just feel like they feel more sentimental that way. So, yeah. So, without any further ado, let's jump to today's book review. So today I'll be discussing with you this duology by Schwartz, and it is Anatomy and Immortality. Now, first of all, look at these covers. I mean, they are gorgeous. Like, look at that heart made out of the dress. And then we have also the brain made out of the dress. Like, oh my god, it looks gorgeous. And as an anatomy major, this is just amazing. And I haven't even talked about like the story yet, and I'm already fangirling because like the covers are gorgeous. So this book takes us back to the regency period. I think it is like the beginning of the 1800s, where we meet our protagonist Hazel Sennett. Now Hazel is of noble upbringing, but she has a secret. She actually dreams of becoming a surgeon. And back in those days, there was no such thing as a female surgeon. So here's where we find the challenge with our protagonist. So she basically sneaks into the Anatomical Society in Edinburgh, because this is based in Edinburgh, Scotland. And she poses as a male and starts taking anatomy lessons amongst her cohorts there. She is discovered by one of the professors there. She gets kicked out of school, but she still wants to learn. So she makes a deal with this professor who kicked her out. She tells him that if she can pass the Royal Medical Examination, then he should let her and the girls after her into medical school. And he agrees to that. But where will Hazel learn? She befriends an unlikely person who is called Jack Kerr, and he is a resurrectionist. Now, resurrectionists are people that dig up graves illegally and steal bodies and sell them to medical schools and anatomists and like physicians so that they can learn on the cadavers. And basically she makes a deal with him and she befriends him, and it is the most unlikely friendship, but it is also so wholesome. It is just magic when Jack and Hazel are together. Now, for the second book, Immortality, Hazel is an established doctor who treats patients all over Edinburgh, but mostly she treats people that are not really well off, like peasants, people that can't afford good medical professional help. Little by little, her reputation reaches Newtown and upper class people, I want to say, and she starts going there and treating people in higher classes. This gets her into trouble in the beginning of the book, where she gets thrown into jail for something that she did not commit. And here's where like the book discusses a lot of feminist issues. It did discuss that in the first book. I'm gonna like talk about it more when I tell you my opinion about the books, but basically there was like this problem that made her go to jail, and she rotted in jail until someone came and took her out of jail. In this time period, Princess Charlotte was the only heir to the throne. She was like the only legitimate grandchild, and she was ill. So the Prince Regent sent for Hazel to come and try to treat Princess Charlotte because she refuses to let anyone touch her or let them examine her so that they know what is wrong with her. It was like this mysterious illness and no one was able to actually know what was going on with her. Hazel is taken from Edinburgh to London and is basically hired as Princess Charlotte's private physician and doctor. And there she meets a lot of interesting characters and she gets to know Princess Charlotte, and she mingles with her peers, the higher class and the ton, and it's all very Bridgerton-like, and also secret societies that she discovers and enters, and there's a lot that happens in this book. I think like it is more eventful than the first book. So first of all, let's talk about the writing style and the plot in general, because I felt like the writing was really, really good. Like it felt like this author knew what she was writing about, because there were small details that I feel like you can't really include without doing your research first. Like, first of all, when she mentioned about like learning on cadavers and books not being enough, I can attest to that as a person who studied anatomy. Like, it's a whole another thing to actually learn on a body. Like, I studied from like textbooks and everything, but when you're on a body and you're dissecting, it's like a whole new world. Like, you have to actually work hard and study hard on the cadaver to know. So this was a really, really cool detail in the book. Another cool detail is the fact that the Scottish are really proud of who they are. Like, their identity is really important to them, and this is really true. Like, I've seen it firsthand. Kudos to the author. She knows how to describe things really, really well, and it is fast-paced. You'll never get bored. You would actually want to stay all night to finish the books. This is how good her writing style is. Detailed and straight to the point at times, and just overall it felt well researched. And also, like, the places that were mentioned, especially in Edinburgh, like, these are places that I've walked by. Like the kirkyards, I've went and visited, and the Harriet Watt School, I used to like pass by that. It was like on the road to my university. The medical school, of course, was mentioned as well, and like the basement where they kept the bodies, that was real as well. I can confirm that to you. Like Carlton Hill was mentioned, and like the jail that Hazel was in was actually there on the hill. And like, it's all these places that I walked through, like Newtown, Old Town. it was so, so cool because I've seen it all, I've experienced it all. So it was so cool to dive back into that world in a book. Now, plot wise, the story felt like it was a mixture between Frankenstein and Bridgerton. Like, if you love these vibes in books and maybe like series and movies, you would love this duology because it was like in Edinburgh, and Edinburgh is very gothic. It's the place to be if you like this sort of vibe, like these gloomy, rainy, dark architecture with dark vibes. And it was all described in the book. Just the fact that resurrectionists were mentioned, because this actually happened back in the day. Like, I took this in class and they told us about grave robbers that stole actual bodies to sell to medical schools. Like, people actually had to like put bars on graves just so that their loved ones won't be like dug up from the ground and discarded in a medical school where everyone and anyone there can, dissect. And the actual fact that they discussed a lot of feminist issues in it, and it just felt that it flows, it wasn't forced, it was actually what was happening back then. Women were discriminated against, they were used as props, they were meant to look at and not actually do anything else but parade themselves and look pretty and get a husband, squeeze out few kids, and that is it. No career, no life, nothing. So Hazel was like a beacon of hope to these women. Like, whenever any woman met her, they would tell her like how cool it is that she's able to do this. And it just broke my heart because I know that this was happening in real life back then, and it's just horrible. But like, Hazel's character was really cool. She was really driven. She knew what she wanted, and like, she was really passionate about medicine, and the fact that she pursued it against the odds and against the fact that she was a member of the town. Like, she was high class. She is a descendant of nobles and she lived in a castle. Like, she had everything, but she still wanted to work hard and she still wanted to make something out of herself. Like, the fact that she was actually researching and drawing diagrams and wanted to publish her anatomy book, and it was just wonderful to read about. And I actually cared for that more than like the love story. The love story was cool as well. Like, the fact that she and Jack, took it to the next level and against all odds, because a lot happens in the books that I don't want to spoil necessarily, but a lot happens. And if you're asking if there are any like paranormal or fantasy elements, I would say there is. There's definitely fantasy, there's definitely paranormal stuff going on, and it's Edinburgh. So, and it's anatomy, and it's, like I said, Frankenstein meets Bridgerton. Like, you will get all the vibes. And also, second love interest syndrome is really strong in the second book, because you're gonna love Simon so much. He's another physician that Hazel meets in the royal court, and it is just real. Now, a really cool element that was added into both of the books was like newspapers and writings, and I really like that because I feel like it adds more magic to the books, and you feel like you're in the story and you're really invested and it's actually there. So I thought that was really cool. Let me show you something like this. It is just, I feel like stuff like this is really cool when it's added to books. Overall, I really enjoyed this duology so much. Like, I can't tell you how good they really are. I feel like they should be talked about more because I haven't seen a lot of people reading this. And why? Like, come on. So good. From the romance to the adventure to the magic to everything. And yeah, that is all for today's review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stick around for another video. And that is all. Bye.